Hello, this is Noreen Crone-Findlay from Crone-Findlay.com and TottieTalksCrafts.com. Today, as you can see in my little board here, I'm going to be doing a video tutorial on how to spool knit with just using your fingers and a little stitch lifter and no spool knitter at all, just the spool knitter that lives at the end of your arm. So you will need to have something to lift your loops with. Now, what I did was I took a chopstick and sort of rounded the end off into a gentle point, and then I glued a bumblebee bead on the end, and that's going to be my loop lifter. Now, before we go any further, I am going to just mention that my website is Crone-Findlay.com. That's where you'll go to find all kinds of wonderful designs and books and patterns and things. And because we're doing spool knitting today, you might want to take a look at my spool knitting page for a million awesome, wonderful and unique designs that you can do with your spool knitting. TottieTalksCrafts.com is my blog, and there's fun stuff there too. Okay, so how to spool knit with your fingers. Now, I'm just going to move my board out of the way, and then we'll get started. Because your fingers are the equivalent of a fairly substantial spool knitter, you're going to want to work with thicker yarns or many strands held together, 2, 3, 4 strands held together. You can also work with fabric strips. This was a duvet cover or something that I tore up into strips and made fabric yarn out of, and you can see it spool knits beautifully on your fingers. Here is hand spun, 2 strands held together. Again, you get a beautiful round spool knitted cord on your fingers. Is that cool or what? If you're going to work with finer strands, you might want to hold 2, 3, 4 strands together at least. With a number 4 medium weight yarn, I don't think 2 strands is really going to be thick enough to give you a nice full-bodied cord. So I'm going to demonstrate with 2 strands of hand spun yarn that is, they're both, I would say they qualify as being a bulky. Okay, so you're going to start with the palm of your hand standing upright, facing upright. And of course, wouldn't you know, there's the phone. I'm not going to answer because I'm going to just keep talking to you. So hopefully someone else will get it. Now, if you've got really catchy rings, you might want to take that off. Mine aren't too bad, so I'll just leave them. Now, you're going to hope that someone answers the phone. You're going to start not with a slip stitch or, with your usual, we would flip it over and make ourselves a slip stitch. Nope. What you're going to do is you're going to hold your yarn end across your palm, and you'll hold it in place with your thumb. So that's because there's a reason why we do that. A slip stitch doesn't work in our favor when we're doing this particular technique. You want to be able to keep easing up that end by pulling on your yarn end. So we take our yarn behind the pointer finger, across the middle finger, and under the ring finger. Then we go over the ring finger, behind the pointer, and over the index again. Now, in order to spool knit, what you're always going to do is you're going to take your yarn across your hand, your 3 fingers, and then you'll bring it around and then just bring it down and pinch it there with your thumb. So our first row will so we've got our wrap all the way around. We're just going to lift the lower loop over the upper one. And with your lifter, your loop lifter, you're going to push down just to make sure that it doesn't pop off the ends of your fingers. Now you're going to let go somewhat of your yarn end when you pass your second stitch over, because it's going to want to pull up, and pass your third one over. Put down your loop lifter, pull gently, just ever so gently, on your yarn end, then bring it back for this round. Now, your yarn is always going to go pardon me, I went in the wrong direction there. Your yarn is always going to come around the back, across the front, and then just down. And you'll pinch it at the base of your little finger. So again, lift the lower stitch over the upper stitch. And what makes your cord round is that, now we'll tug down. See how by pulling on your end, you start to snug up your cord. And we never go back and forth. That would give us flat knitting. We always take it around and down and hold. So you'll find this works up very quickly, of course. Tug. You might want to slide it down a little because this finger on my hand is quite a bit shorter. So, oops, we've got a bit of a bind up here. That's okay, that'll all get covered up. And lower loop over upper. Tug. Slide it down a bit. Around. Down. Hold with your thumb against the base of your little finger. And get over there, you. And look, you're getting a beautiful round cord. And of course, it works up really quickly. So your cords can be used to do all kinds of decorative embellishments on your crochet, your weaving, your knitting. You can embellish fleece fabric and stitch your cord onto it. You can stitch it onto hats, bags, wraps, throws, shawls, anything you can think of. And of course, too, oh, sorry, my greyhound is always, half an inch away from me. That was him just scratching his collar, just to add a little music to the background here. So, and of course, you can make wonderful toys with it. Look at that. It's a beautiful, round, spool knitted cord with just the spool knitter that you came pre-supplied with. There you go. Who'd have thunk it? You've got a spool knitter right there whenever you need it. Now, I don't like using crochet hooks as loop lifters because you do kind of tend to catch. So a knitting needle, a chopstick, the end of your crochet hook, that's if it's not a big fat one, will work too. So there you go. You can spool knit up miles of cord, make wonderful necklaces and things in no time flat. Oh, what happens? Oops, I dropped a stitch there. What happens if you need to stop for a while? Well, of course, the best thing to do is to pick up your stitches and store them on your loop lifter, like that. But what if you took your loop lifter out? No problem. Just take your cord, remember it goes behind your hand, slip your fingers into the loops and bring your loop lifter over, pick up and carry on with your spool knitting. So there you have it. Spool knitting without a spool knitter, just with your hands. So remember, do go to check out the wonderful designs and patterns and things on my website, and go gently. Happy spool knitting, happy yarny life. We'll see you again soon. Bye for now.